Fireside Chat. In his hilarious story, a man introduces himself to a stranger, setting up an incredibly awkward situation.
Yay!
I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, Peace. Oh, yeah. This is a work of creative nonfiction, so before I read it, I have to make sure the person that's in it is not here. Okay. Fireside Chat. You like fires? I stop watering the garden and look up in the direction of the voice. The short, chunky man standing on the other side of the fence is wearing a Yankees hat and a simple grin. Both suit him. Excuse me? What else can I say? That's a nice fire, he says, pointing to the cast iron chimney smoking on the slate patio in the distance behind me. His face is extremely round and not in a comforting way. You like fires? Now there is a loaded question if I've ever heard one. Is he simply admiring my fire or feeling out a possible arsonist buddy? I could definitely see this guy as a firebug. He looks as if he would be in his natural element, emptying gas cans into derelict buildings while giggling to himself. Sure, I answer. I mean, it's always nice to have a small fire going, especially this time of year. Yeah, I've got a fire pit in my backyard. I fire it up every night. I live right over there. He points off in a random direction. I follow his gesture and pretend to have an idea of where his house might be. A quick glance down the narrow alley separating my backyard from the community playground reveals we are alone. Great. This is just a person I want to meet in an abandoned alley. How long have you lived here, he asks. That's a good sign. It means he hasn't been stalking me. I notice that he is squinting even though the sun is behind him, as if in a constant state of intense thought. It must be exhausting being him. Oh, I'm not sure. I think it's going on 6 years now. Don't ask me why I feel the need to answer honestly. Instinct, I suppose. I moved up here 5 years ago from North Carolina after we broke up. We had a trailer together down there for a few years, but back then I was addicted to crystal meth and she was addicted to crack. So things got a little bit crazy after a while. Well, I guess it's always important for a couple to share common interests. Of course, the drug addiction might not be the most solid foundation for a lasting relationship. Maybe meth heads and crackheads don't see eye to eye. I can see where that sort of personality clash might cause problems further down the road. Then she got pregnant and lost a baby, he continues. And things kind of fell apart after that. She sort of lost me when she lost a kid, so I left her with the trailer and moved up here. I've been sober 7 years now. I nod. Yeah, that kind of thing is hard to come to terms on in a relationship. Why is he telling me all this? I still don't even know his name, yet now I have a detailed description of his drug history and personal mortality rate. Not exactly your typical getting to know your neighbor dialogue. I would probably be more surprised if this kind of thing did not happen to me all the time. Just like the guy at Wendy's who admired my watch, then suddenly admitted to performing operations without a medical license. Or the mayoral candidate I met in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot that confessed to believing the moon landing was faked by NASA. Is it just me, or do other people normally find themselves on the receiving end of an impromptu confessional? Yep. He nods his eyes, wandering back to my chimenea. This month has been perfect for fires. I have this big fire pit in my backyard, and I'll just put a huge pile in it, and just sit there with a six-pack and the dogs, and just watch it burn all night. The dogs love it. I almost get whiplash from the conversational shift. He went from backyard activities to drug-induced miscarriages, and back again without a change in tone or expression. If he breaks into tongues, I'm going to douse him with a hose and lock myself in the garden shed. The nights have definitely been getting cooler. I agree cautiously. It's the perfect type of weather for late evening bonfires. Hell yeah. Last weekend I had this tree stump in the fire pit, and that thing burned red, hot until 3 or 4 in the morning. The dogs and I just sat there all night watching it burn. The dogs love the fire pit. I'll bet they do. I wonder how long his dogs have been talking to him about fires. Why am I I chatting with the friendly neighborhood Son of Sam copycat, I should just shout, "Oh my God, the couch is on fire," and just run into the house. Just because a random person starts talking to me does not mean I am obligated to stand there and hold up my end of the conversation. "Do you have any dogs?" he asks. For a split second, I thought he said drugs. Did he see me flinch? I quickly try to cover it by shaking my head with what I hope is a subtle expression of mild remorse. Too bad. Dogs love fires. Not all this guy's dogs are barking. I could probably just say, "Excuse me," casually walk into the house and lock the door. It might work. That's probably a bad idea. For all I know, he'll just stand there at the fence and wait for me to come back out and continue our little chat. "You know, I know what you mean." I have absolutely no idea what he means. Thank you. Thank you.